In this video, we're gonna talk about the number one question you're always gonna get at the beginning of the interview, which is always tell me about yourself. If you don't get this right, this may put you at jeopardy moving on to the next round of the interview or essentially converting this interview into an offer. If you do this wrong, other people will absolutely beat you out. If you're targeting six figures and multiple six figures, you're trying to go into an organization where they're gonna pay you, a decent chunk of change. You need to know how to answer this question because likely you're competing in this interview loop through other people that got your same background, your same accomplishments, your same education, and likely your same work history. If you haven't heard me say this before, remember, it's not the person who has the best accomplishments or the best Ivy League degree, it's the person who can communicate effectively. But before we get started, if you don't know me, my name's Tim Madden, the CEO and co-founder of Executive Career Upgrades, where we help directors, VPs, and executives accelerate their career. I'm a writer for Forbes, Entrepreneur, Business Insider, and more. And be sure to go pick up a copy of my Amazon best-selling book, Discipline Equals Dream Job. And as always, if you are looking for career advice to accelerate your career and your life, be sure to smash that subscribe button below. All right, now let's get started. The first things I want to talk about is things that you should absolutely not under any circumstances do, as they will likely end your chances of converting this interview into an offer. Number one, do not, I repeat, do not talk for more than 60 seconds on your intro elevator pitch, tell me about yourself, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely do not make this 5 minutes. In 2024, with the advancement of Instagram Reels, Facebook, and TikTok Reels, it's made people's attention spans very low. So hey, let me help you out. It's already been 2 minutes, pay attention, okay? You only have a little bit of time to make a first impression. This has to be 60 seconds, not 5 minutes, so you can capture that, and I'm gonna give you the framework in this video to help you out. Number two, we're not talking about money whatsoever at the beginning of this conversation. Do not do that, money or compensation. Number three, we're not talking about very personal things about our personal life or our family. Remember, what's the main reason that they have you on this interview? They have reason to believe, based on you getting a referral, you getting in front of them, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, that you may be qualified for this opportunity. So the only thing we should be talking about is our qualifications and what they're looking for. One more important piece about attention. There was a recent study done on LinkedIn that said they polled CEOs and hiring managers and they asked them, if you had to meet someone for only 60 seconds, how comfortable would you be making a hiring decision? The interesting part is 70% of individuals, hiring managers, CEOs said that they'd feel comfortable making a hiring decision in just 60 seconds. The more interesting fact is they asked the same set of people, if you had 15 minutes with a candidate, how comfortable would you be making a hiring decision? An astonishing 90% of people who hire people in corporate America said that they feel confident making a hiring decision in just 15 minutes. So you have a very small window to make a lasting impression. So be sure you follow this framework very closely on your next opportunity while you're going through the interview process. Number one, for the first 15 seconds, you always want to start with an icebreaker or a little bit of humor, and here's why. No matter who you are, no matter how confident you are, whenever you meet a stranger in life, whenever you're headed to your interview, it's very normal to have a little bit of stress and anxiety leading up to the event and when you start the event as well. Adding a little bit of humor, adding an icebreaker could help ease that tension on your mind. And you want to do this because when you're feeling anxious, stressed, a little uneasy, you're likely to make mistakes and have a little bit of fog in your mind. So here's an easy way to nail the first 15 seconds. So someone's going to ask you again, hey Tim, tell me about yourself, right? Absolutely, I'd love to. Hey, my name is Tim Madden. I served in the military for over 20 years. I live in Tampa, Florida with my beautiful wife, Christina, and my son. And I love living in Florida because of the warm weather, sunny beaches, and no state taxes. Every time I've said that, when I've networked or when someone has said, tell me about yourself, right? I always get a little chuckle out of that. It eases the conversation, and then it has their guard down a little bit more. People are so tense during these interview times. So number one, you always want to open up with a little bit about yourself personally, just a tiny bit, and wrap it up with some type of icebreaker. And I gave you an example that I typically use. Now, when we get to number two, which is about 30 seconds, it's all about business now. You're only on this interview for one reason. They're looking for someone to do something, to lead a team, to solve challenges, to hit their strategic targets. And now this is your one opportunity to shine. This is also your one opportunity to ensure that you're presenting yourself in the best way possible so that you can capture that attention and already get ahead of your competition. So number two, I want you to think about, why am I qualified potentially for this position? So I'll give you an example. So I've already went through part one, and now I'm moving into part two, 30 seconds. Why am I qualified? Hey, over the past 20 years, I've been a VP of talent acquisition. I've overseen the placement of 8,000 professionals in nearly 18 industries. I've led teams of up to 200 globally and budgets of up to $50 million annually. And companies bring me in when they want to hire great talent as quickly as possible, as most cost-effective as possible. So if you're looking for that, hey, I really look forward to our conversation today. What you want to do in this initial section, you need to think about what's on their mind. If I'm a project manager, what do I want to talk about? I probably want to bring up, I have X amount of years of experience, probably the revenue amount of the budgets I've led, the teams I've led, and what impact I've had in the company, maybe through cost savings. Okay? You're gonna have to figure out what it is for you, but you need to come strong and with conviction saying, hey, this is why you should listen to me. The more numeric values or quantitative data you have to inject in this 30 seconds, the better it's gonna be for you. So it's always good to bring up your team size, the budgets you've led, and then what's the one thing that's probably on their mind? The reason I brought up talent acquisition in this example is because everyone's trying to hire great talent as quickly as possible for as cost effective as possible. So if you're in HR, use that one on your next interview. Then we move into section 3. You always do this no matter what. You always wrap up your little intro, elevator pitch, tell me about yourself with why I'm excited to meet with you today. Even if a recruiter, headhunter, no matter how you get on this interview, even if it falls in your lap, you absolutely do some research and say, what are some commonalities that I have with this organization? So here's some things that you could do. Do research on the company. What does the company stand for? What's their mission? What's their values? Have they been in the news recently? Are they big on social or corporate responsibility? What about the products or services they deliver? What's one commonality that you have with them? Let me give you an example. Maybe you're interviewing for a manufacturing facility and you find online that they do a lot for the community for inner city children or something like that. Maybe if that resonates with you, that's something I want to bring up with the hiring manager. Hey John, I'm really excited to talk to you today because I noticed when I was doing research online, in addition to manufacturing this widget, the company makes a priority to really give back to the community, to the inner city kids. And I grew up in Chicago. I was an inner city kid and I didn't have this type of opportunity. And now I have children. See what I mean? Or maybe you're interviewing at Uber. Hey, I'm really excited to talk to you today about this opportunity. Uber has absolutely transformed the transportation space. Anytime I'm going to the airport, I do this. But what we're looking for here is what's a commonality you have. You have to tell them, not be overly excited, but say, hey, I'm excited to talk to you today about this position. Be different, be inspiring, have some conviction. So a good elevator pitch includes an icebreaker, tell me about yourself. Then it goes into number 2, why am I qualified, with quantitative data. And then number 3, why I'm excited to talk to you today. One of the best examples I saw of this in action was when I was eating at Chipotle 2 years ago. I saw someone who was interviewing to be just, a line cook, to prepare food. And I heard the interviewer say, tell me about yourself. Then she talked about, in the first 15 seconds, her passion for cooking and how her parents always made her cook, ha ha ha. And the hiring manager got a giggle and I was like, man, she's sharp, man. And then she went in number 2. She added, why she was qualified, how much cooking she's done. And then she went in number 3, why she wanted to work there and why was she excited. Needless to say, the hiring manager offered her a job. Now I know we're talking about Chipotle and more of an entry-level role, but it doesn't matter if this is an entry-level role, this is a director role at IBM, or you trying to be the CEO of the big bank. This is the framework you need to use, you need to nail. If you do not do this, other people will beat you out in the interview process that are less qualified than you. So you have to practice this. So remember to use this framework on your next interview. Check out the video library down below, as there's many resources to help you in your career and land your next position and beyond. And be sure to click that subscribe button down below.